So ready, listen to this. That's not even half throttle. Now we're full throttle, wide open.
Oh my God.
Come on, let's get out of here before the cops come. So today what we're going to do is just a quick review of the 2022 392. I'm going to do a driving review. I'm not going to give you all the crazy specs of the car. You can probably, you've probably already looked those up. I just want to tell you what the car is like, what it's like to drive, and that kind of thing. And actually just took it on an 800-mile road trip up from Atlanta to Philadelphia, and I'll be driving it back down the East Coast in a few weeks as well. So I'm going to give you the feel of what that's like, and obviously we'll drive it and show you how fast it is, let you hear the engine and things like that. So let's get into it. Let's take it for a ride. Can I make a left turn here? I don't know. It's all right. When in doubt, gas it out. The 392 has a lot of power, so we'll start there. Are you all right, Mom?
Oh my God.
So to start, yes, the 392 is a very powerful motor. So let's just focus on that because I think that's all anybody, really cares about. Obviously, it's a Jeep. It drives like most other Jeeps. I will say the suspension in this is definitely, I feel like they put the Fox racing suspension on this. I feel like it is a little bit more compliant and handles speed a little bit better than your typical Rubicon. I think it's a little bit, people say it's firmer. I feel like it feels a little softer when you drive the car. Like it's not as jarring as the typical Rubicon suspension. But then it does handle speed a little bit better. So I'll say that this suspension I think they put on this is a lot more comfortable on long trips and things like that. Now, I had a Gladiator before this, and I've reviewed that on my channel as well. I'll link that video down below. But compared to something like the Gladiator, I've never actually had a regular Wrangler, and I'll say the Wrangler handles way better than the Gladiator did. So it still handles like a Jeep, but it does actually handle pretty precisely for being a Jeep, I think. In my opinion, I think they've done a great job with the newest generation of Jeeps and trying to make Jeeps more of a regular daily driver style car that you can take off-road, but also, daily drive. So I'll say that I think they nailed that here. So now getting into the engine though, so this is the 2022 392, 470 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque, with the 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8, the HEMI, that I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're probably very well aware is similar, almost the same as the engine that comes in the Scat Pack. It's the 392. It's an awesome engine. I will say there is no substitution for a naturally aspirated V8. I've had a lot of cars, over the years, and my first car was a naturally aspirated V8, and I am so excited to be back in a naturally aspirated V8. My first car was a 1995 Ford Bronco that had a 5.0 V8 in that, and that was an awesome car. Nowhere near as powerful as this, but still awesome. So the motor makes a ton of torque, and that's something that when you're driving it, you're incredibly aware of. So ready, listen to this. That's not even half throttle. Now we're full throttle, wide open. It's pretty crazy. Hopefully this isn't a cop. And if it is, hopefully he likes Jeeps. So that is an insane amount of torque, and you're always aware of it when you're driving the car. So most Jeeps, if you've ever had a Jeep, they're historically underpowered. But this, when you want the power is there, it delivers the power in a very linear way. You're not searching for more power in a Jeep. When you have a Jeep, you know that when you're going around turns, Jeeps are not the most stable through windy turns. You pretty much only gas this thing out when you have a wide open straightaway. Any other time, you're not going to feel real comfortable, so there's plenty of power in here. I don't think they needed to put a supercharger in this and put the Hellcat engine in here. I think this is totally sufficient. So with that, I think this is the best engine they could have put in this car. And this is a hot take, but if you're reviewing this car as a car of, if you're reviewing the car trying to figure out if you should buy this car, I think that, and this is a biased opinion because I did just buy it, I do love this car, but I think this is the perfect car for someone who has a lifestyle of, liking to be outdoors, but also likes performance motors, and also needs a decent amount of room to kind of maybe haul their family around or something like that. So if you point the camera back here, you'll see that I have the back seats down. As I mentioned, we just went on that long road trip, and the Jeep was incredibly spacious for that road trip. So it kind of blends the best of both worlds, in that you can have a performance-oriented vehicle, you can take it off-road, and you have enough space. Those are a lot of the boxes that I was looking to check. Now, some of the boxes that it doesn't check are the biggest and really the only drawback. The only thing I don't like about this car, and I wouldn't even say I don't like it because you expect it, but it's the fuel economy. The fuel economy is not great. All right, so I had a 330i BMW that I'll drop a review to that on the channel as well soon before I bought this. But the fuel economy is pretty bad. I mean, I was on the highway for 800 miles and I was getting up towards like 17 and a half, 18 miles to the gallon, which I was actually excited by. So imagine being excited by seeing 18 miles to the gallon on your speedometer. And I never actually quite got it to 18. I got it to 17 and a half, and then I hit some traffic and it dropped it back down to 17. So just be aware that the fuel economy is a big thing to pay attention to when you're buying this car, particularly with gas prices where they are right now. Hopefully they come down, but who knows. So that's that. I got this, as I mentioned, I got this as it was actually a canceled order that somebody ordered up in Philadelphia, and I knew somebody who worked at a dealership, and I texted them to see if they had any 392s in the lot, and sure enough, they had a canceled order, so I was fortunate enough to get this. But if you are looking for one, be prepared to pay potentially like $5,000 to $10,000 over MSRP. And in my opinion, if you have the money, I think it's worth it. I would pay $10,000 over MSRP for this. I considered it. I just got lucky and found one at MSRP. But I do think that this is, the best version of a Jeep that they've ever built. I think it'll pretty much check all your boxes in terms of having enough, power off-road, and then you'll also be able to have a ton of fun on the road, obviously. So just keep that in mind. And I'm also going to do a walk around of the car here in a little bit. This one came with 33-inch wheels, but I do think that they look awesome on 35s. A lot of people put the Extreme Recon package on it, and they get 35-inch tires instead of 33s. But this one does have 33s, and I'll show you that. And the person who ordered this one opted for the Falcon Wild Peak mud terrain tires, which are, I've read different things about those tires. Some are good, some are bad. The tires on this, I'll let you know how they are. I only have 2,000 miles on it so far, but those are the tires that came on it. If I was ordering my own, I'd probably recommend getting the all-terrain tires that come with it, but unless you do a ton of off-roading, but the all-terrain seem to be the better all-around option. All right, now let's check out the interior a little bit. So there's not much difference in the interior. If you've been in a Wrangler, you've been in a 392. The dash is a little bit different. I like this. I don't know what the material is, but it's nice and gray. Some of these are kind of ugly in my opinion in the Jeeps. They make them like red and weird colors. I think my Gladiator had a weird colored one. I don't remember what color it was. The steering wheel's a little bit thicker for the 392. That's about it. And then another thing that I would definitely recommend in the if you're getting a Jeep is, I don't know if I can get enough light on there right now, but is the top. So this is the automatic top that goes back. I think it's called the Sky Top or something like that, and it has a little button there, almost like a sunroof does. That's really awesome. I use that all the time. I would highly recommend that. And then just check out the space. So I have the seats down, because I mentioned we're traveling. So I have the seats down back here, and it really is pretty spacious. I mean, it's not huge, but it's pretty spacious. So definitely would recommend checking it out if you think a Jeep is too small. It might not be too small for what you're looking for, so just don't cross it off your list. And then lastly, you have 392 stitching the seats right there, and the seats I think are bolstered a little bit better. I don't think they're the exact same seats. I think there definitely has been a little bit of something done to the seats in this Jeep to make it a little bit more plush and luxury. Not much, but I think they do have a little bit more padding or something like that. Or maybe it's just because it's a 2022 and my Gladiator was a 2020. I don't know. And this doesn't come standard on the Jeep, but this is a bullet point mount with the magnet, and I love this thing. Just if you're looking for somewhere to put, if you're looking for something to add to your Jeep, I would highly recommend that. It was kind of expensive at $70, but when you're in a Jeep, a lot of times you don't have anywhere to put your phone because Jeeps don't have center consoles right here. They have the console here, which does like hold a decent amount of stuff. It's got two separate pieces here. but it's still not that big compared to like a truck. And if you're looking at a Jeep, you could also be considering a 4x4, you know, pickup. But yeah, Jeeps don't have this center console, and it always used to really annoy me. But this recent road trip, it didn't bother me as much. I had this mount for my phone, and I think it really helped free up some space down here. And then with Jeeps, you know, you always have the pockets with the mesh on the side. You'll see that over here. And that's really all you have for storage on Jeeps. There's not like a ton of places to put stuff. But cool. Yeah, that's the interior. If you have any questions on it, let me know. We're going to do a ton more reviews on the 392. As I mentioned, I just got this car, so drop them down below. All right, and I mentioned the, you know, the Skytop, and real quick, just to show you, this is how far the Skytop goes back. So the Skytop really does go, you know, almost all the way back to the you know, the actual tailgate of the Jeep. And then these back window panels both come out. And this model also comes with a half door option, so you can also order half doors for it, which would be really cool. You'd have kind of a full, you know, open experience, which is really something that's awesome when you have a Jeep, be able to just do that. But the Skytop is super convenient because as long as you're going under 60 miles an hour at any time, you can press the button and the whole thing goes right back for you, which is different than my last Jeep that I had, where I had the Freedom panels, and the Freedom panels were cool. But the Skytop, I feel like you're much more likely to use it because it's just way easier to take the top off. So yeah, it's really nice because of the convenience factor, and I think I'll end up using the, you know, the convertible function of the Jeep more than I normally would. Then quickly walking around the outside, as I mentioned, we have the 33-inch tires. These are the Falcon Wild Peak mud terrains. The 392 comes standard with the steel bumper, which is really awesome. It also has these golden tow hooks, which are how you can distinguish the 392 from other models. And you'll see that you have the badge on the hood there. But other than that, it looks like a standard Wrangler Rubicon. You also have a steel bumper in the rear as well, and a full-size spare. How you doing? And you have a full-size spare on there as well. And again, another gold tow hook. The 392 also has the full quad exhaust back here, which is another way that you can distinguish it. And mine came with the trailer tow package, which was a great upgrade. And they also offer the tailgate reinforcement from the factory to support the weight of this tire. I don't know, I've heard different opinions on that, if that's something that you necessarily need or not, but just know that it's available from the factory if you are ordering one. So cool, that's the 392. We have a lot more videos to come. Oh, you know what? Let me show you the engine. You guys probably want to see the engine, huh? All right, so as I mentioned, 392, 6.4 liter HEMI. 470 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque. You'll see here that it is pretty jammed in there. It's pretty tight inside the engine bay. What I read online is that they shoehorned it in there. I find that to be a pretty funny way to put it, but they do. They really did shoehorn it in there. Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's a pretty awesome looking engine, and I'll keep you posted on reliability over the long run, and yeah, how things go. Another cool thing, if you haven't seen on other videos, is this Jeep Hydro Guide system, where they were worried with the 392 that it wouldn't be able to bore water the same way that the other Rubicons are able to. So what they did is they created an intake on the hood, so when water flows up and over the hood, this thing can actually separate water from the air going into the engine at a rate of like 15 gallons a second or something like that, some kind of crazy rate. I don't know what the stat is, but it's a pretty cool fun fact. I don't know if I'll ever put that to use, because I don't know if I'm ever going to put my Jeep under 40 inches of water or something. Just know that it's there and it has the option. It also has the LED headlight package. So if you're getting a Jeep, I would not buy a Jeep without the LED headlight package. These LED headlights are awesome. They're super bright compared to other Jeeps. Some Jeeps still come, believe it or not, with like standard headlights, and these LEDs are really cool. So yeah, highly recommend those. What else is interesting on the Jeep? Yeah, that's pretty much it. We got a lot more videos to come, so stay tuned. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to do a full kind of like lifestyle series with this Jeep. I live down in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going to be taking it off-road in the North Georgia mountains. mountains quite a bit. Also heading down to North Carolina next week, and we're going to do some off-roading in the sand with it. So we'll do a video of how it performs in the sand as well as on some of the mountains in North Georgia. So if you have any questions, drop them down below. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And yeah, come back for more. All right, peace.